This is Yukio Nagasaki from University of Tsukuba. Let me start my talk. Today, what I'd like to talk about is a novel polymer micelle as a new modality drug. I'll show you drug development using polymer micelle. First of all, I appreciate Professor Kenichi Imura in Utsunomiya University for inviting me to this symposium. Thank you very much, Imura Sensei. I have no COI to declare. So let me start my talk about drug development. This is drug development of past, present, and future. Previously, 120 years ago, aspirin was developed. After that, many types of drug was synthesized by organic synthesis. But recently, no candidate is remain. So we say, limitation of organic synthesis for drug development. So last 20 to 30 years, new modality, biomedicine, is developing. Professor Honjo was awarded Nobel Prize 2 years ago. He and many people are trying to develop antibody drug. So protein became drug. This is one of paradigm shift of drug development. However, problem is, cost of drug development. In case of Opdivo, for example, it cost, 35 million yen per year. It was very expensive. Recently, more than, 1 billion yen is available. Drug delivery system is studying for last 30 to 40 years. This is unique, delivery of cheap drug by nanoparticle. However, recently, we confirmed few percent of nanoparticle accumulate in target site. This means, more than 95% is spread to other area in the body. In addition, from the recent clinical trial, leaking of drug from the nanoparticle is another problem. I mean, during circulation in bloodstream, drug confined in the nanoparticle leaked. And finally, the nanoparticle accumulate in the tumor site was empty. So this means, limitation of drug itself. So what we are focusing on is drug development by molecular assembly. What does this mean? Feature of self-assembling drug, creation of pharmacological function that occur only after self-assembly, reduction of side effect unavoidable with low molecular weight alone, cheap and safe material design technology. These three are, our objective to develop new drug. So today's topic is three topics: antioxidant, amino acid, and short-chain fatty acid. We develop self-assembled drug for objective of these compounds. Let me show you oxidative stress and antioxidant. Oxidative stress, as you know, oxygen want to oxidize everything, including body. So during oxidization, superoxide, hydrogen peroxide, and other reactive species produces. We said, reactive oxygen species. So reactive oxygen species relate to disease very much. So we want to reduce reactive oxygen species. Antioxidant is one of the candidates to reduce reactive oxygen species, ROS. However, this is review article more than 10 years ago. So they did not carry out the experiment. They check the survey of 68 randomized study in the 385 articles of summarizing the effect of antioxidant from more than 230 patients or people. So from these data, they summarize beta carotene is 7%, vitamin A is 16%, vitamin E is 4%. What is this? Increase the risk of death. When you administer antioxidant every day, your life shorten. Why? Why not? So let me show you the reason. When you administer low molecular weight antioxidant spread to entire body. However, in a normal body, especially in a cell, healthy mitochondria generate energy by important chain transport chain, electron transport chain. So by this reaction, we generate the energy from sugar. During this process, huge amount of reactive oxygen species was generated. Important loss must not be suppressed, otherwise we cannot survive. What is important point? Overproduced loss must be selectively scavenged. However, loss reactive oxygen species in disease and in energy production, they are the same chemical species. How you can eliminate the overproduced loss related to disease? Then we have done this development of polymer micelle-based antioxidant. You can see here amphiphilic block copolymer. This is hydrophobic segment. This is hydrophilic segment. This is tempo molecule. As you know, this is a stable radical species, but this tempo react with superoxide reactive oxygen species. So this is one of the strongest antioxidant. Important point, we covalently conjugate tempo to the hydrophobic segment of block copolymer. As you know, once we expose this in aqueous media, spontaneously form polymer micelle nanoparticle with several tens nanometer like this. So how the antioxidant character becomes when we use this kind of nanoparticle? Let me show you. This is zebrafish. We add low molecular weight antioxidant tempo in this case. Then you can see here, this is viability with a 3 millimolar level. All of zebrafish died after 5 days. In case of 30 millimolar, all of them rapidly killed. So we stain mitochondria. Normal mitochondria is red fluorescent, but after adding tempo, all of mitochondria is gone like this. When we use polymer micelle type antioxidant here, we abbreviate RMP, redox nanoparticle, with 30 millimolar level, which, low molecular weight tempo immediately kill all of them, still survive most of zebrafish after 5 days. And the mitochondria is red fluorescent like this. So due to the size of the antioxidant, we avoid the problem, side effect of antioxidant, which is believed, to less internalization of micellar type nanoparticle into normal cell and did not disturb the normal redox reaction like electron transport chain. Let me show you, explain in more detail. We prepared the amphiphilic block copolymer like this, possessing tempo as a covalently conjugate to hydrophobic segment. We prepared two different type of block copolymer. One is pH insensitive, regardless of the pH change. It forms polymer micelle like this. Another one is pH sensitive. With decreasing pH, the self-assembled polymer micelle disintegrate like this to form a polymer. We abbreviate this. pH insensitive is RMPO, and pH sensitive is RMPN. So let me show you the character of this nanoparticle. In vial, we analyze, the laser scattering intensity. When nanoparticle exist, laser scatter. So pH insensitive nanoparticle did not change of the scattering intensity regardless of the pH change. On the other hand, pH sensitive nanoparticle decreases the scattering intensity with pH less than pH 7. So this means, the nanoparticle collapsed to polymer itself like this. This is one of the evidence that RMPN collapsed by decreasing pH. Another evidence is ESR spectrum. As you know, you can detect the ESR signal of nitroxy radical. Under acidic nature, acidic media, triplet signal was observed like this. But under neutral to alkaline condition, the peak becomes broad and smaller because the tempo molecule confined in a solid core here. So this is another evidence that this nanoparticle collapsed under acidic condition. So let me show you therapeutic effect of self-assembling antioxidant. This is the effect of RMP on ischemia reperfusion injury. With aging, blood flow in the kidney and mesenteric capillaries deteriorates, resulting in reperfusion injury. What did this? When blood flow stop and after a while, blood flow recover, the oxygen concentration increase rapidly, and then reactive oxygen species generate which damage to the organ. This is a model of ischemia reperfusion of kidney. After reperfusion, we injected our nanoparticle from the tail vein and show the effect. This is pH insensitive nanoparticle measured by ESR spectra for blood here and kidney here. You can see here broad signal in blood and kidney, which means RMPO forms nanoparticle regardless of the blood and kidney. In case of pH sensitive nanoparticle in blood, you can see broadening signal. But in a kidney, triplet signal observed. This means, under the after the reperfusion, the kidney becomes damaged by reactive oxygen species and the decreased pH and collapse the nanoparticle like this and expose the tempo molecule outside of the mast cell. Then we can confirm the loss level in kidney. This is normal mouse, and after ischemia reperfusion, the loss level in kidney increased to 4 times, 5 times like this. After this stage, we injected our nanoparticle, and the loss level becomes the same level as normal, like this. So this is evidence that exposed tempo molecule scavenge reactive oxygen species in the kidney. pH insensitive nanoparticle also decrease the loss level here, but the efficiency of RMPN pH sensitive nanoparticle is much higher. Another data, a therapeutic effect. After reperfusion, we checked the creatinine level in blood and blood urea nitrogen level. As compared to normal mouse, ischemia reperfusion model mouse increased the creatinine level and BUNS level 10 times higher, which means, the dysfunction of kidney itself by ischemia reperfusion treatment. After this stage, we administer nanoparticle, and then the creatinine and BUN level decrease, which means, the function of kidney recover to, normal level like this. So ischemia reperfusion appear in several organs. One of the very famous ischemia reperfusion is the brain stroke. So we prepared the stroke model by rat like this. As compared to saline control, this is, infarct volume, size of infarction. As compared to control, our nanoparticle decrease the size of infarction, which means, we monitor this size after 1 day, which means, we did not decrease the size of infarction by nanoparticle. Actually, the size of infarction increase gradually for 1 day by the damage by reactive oxygen species. But our nanoparticle prevent the increase in size of infarction. Another example is heart attack. The myocardial ischemia reperfusion also damaged like this, which was confirmed by DAG. As compared to control, size of infarction of heart is almost half. This is similar to brain attacks. So like this, our nanoparticle works very well to reduce the reactive oxygen species like this. Another example is Alzheimer's disease. As you know, the reason for Alzheimer's disease are not well known, well analyzed, but finally, Alzheimer's disease may aggregate amyloid beta protein here and causes inflammation and then induce reactive oxygen species. This attack the neuron cell and make damage. So loss is important, and we wanted to decrease the reactive oxygen species. We use, pH-sensitive nanoparticle oral administration, which internalize into bloodstream and scavenge reactive oxygen species. This is Alzheimer's model mouse, and this is normal mouse. This mouse generates amyloid beta in brain. So normal mouse found, the table here and start to rest. Unfortunately, this mouse cannot find, the table due to the less cognition or memory. So we monitor, how long it takes to find, table. This is normal mouse and this is Alzheimer model mouse. We administer our nanoparticle to this mouse and monitor like this. After 4 weeks, the time to find table is same as control. The cognition level recover. So this is not the therapeutic effect, just we suppress, inflammation in brain and recover the cognition level like this. Another example is sports, marathon here. There is no report on the positive effect of antioxidant on marathon and other sports. So we have tried the oral test using rat. We use, treadmill like this and forced to run rat by 40 meters per minute before we administer our nanoparticle. So normal rat without antioxidant run an average of 60 minutes. The upper two video is administration below molecular weight antioxidant, and the bottom two is our nanoparticle. You can see here 0.7 millimole level, they run 45 minutes, less than no control, and 0.34 millimole runs 60 millimole, the same as control. So this means you can see here with increasing dose of antioxidant, the oral time decrease like this. In case of our nanoparticle, with a 0.34 millimole runs 75 minutes, and 0.7 millimole runs 90 minutes, 50% higher than control. So our nanoparticle works very well. So let me show the reason. By running, the red blood cell broken, hemolysis occur, probably due to the mechanical impact of sole of leg and rod. Then release iron, and which causes several redox reaction like a phantom reaction, generate reactive oxygen species, attack to red blood cell again, and weaken the red blood cell. This is, the negative vicious cycle, damage the red blood cell and decrease very much. So they cannot deliver oxygen. But in our nanoparticles, suppress the reactive oxygen species and suppress damage to improve the running time like this. So final data on antioxidant is gut-brain axis. As you know, intestine, recently there are many reports about intestine and brain related. So we wanted to suppress the inflammation in intestine and wanted to check the effect of inflammation, intestinal inflammation to brain. So we use, our nanoparticle, which selectively located in the intestine, not spread in the body, to eliminate reactive oxygen species and suppress inflammation. And then check the effect. We prepared the depression model like this. We put, mouse in a conical tube like this for 6 hours for 3 weeks and check, intestine as compared to healthy mouse, stress mouse, decrease goblet cell and thickness of mucosa. However, when we administer our nanoparticle, antioxidant nanoparticle, did not decrease goblet cell and did not decrease the thickness of mucosa. Like this, the stress make damage to intestine like this, but our nanoparticle recover or protect from the damage by stress. Another point, depressive syndrome like this, this is normal mouse. This is the depression model mouse. Did not move like this. So we monitor, the immobility time as compared to healthy mouse. Depression model mouse increase immobility time due to the damage of brain by stress. But in case of our nanoparticle treatment, the depressive immobility time decrease like this. So we believe our antioxidant nanoparticle located in intestine affect the depression like this. So in addition to this data, we monitored plasma corticosterone level. This is hormone of depression. As compared to healthy mouse, depression model increase corticosterone. But our nanoparticle treatment did not increase the corticosterone level. This is another evidence that depression is suppressed. Final data is brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is messenger RNA decrease in case of depression. As compared to healthy, depression decrease the BDNF level, but in case of antioxidant, increase like this. So by all of three data shows, our nanoparticle, scavenge reactive of oxygen species in intestine recover depression like this. Oh, sorry, final data for antioxidant. As you know, this is infection disease. And not only COVID-19, but also other infection disease rapidly and significantly increase cytokine level in the initial stage, which is so-called cytokine syndrome. The cytokine syndrome accompanies an increase in loss, which causes lethal damage to the body. So we wanted to check the relation of loss level and infection. So we started this last year. So we have not enough data, but also we cannot use, the COVID model. So we use, the malaria model, which is collaborated with Dr. Annora, National Institute of Infection Disease. So we prepared, the malaria model and then inject our nanoparticle. So this is preliminary data, but you can see here as compared to control and low molecular weight compound, nanoparticle increase viability. So it looks, it works well. So this movie shows, the malaria mouse. This not die, but very low mobility. But the RNP administration is very healthy like this. So by reactive oxygen species plays very much important role to decrease the to increase the damage of infection, especially initial stage. Thus, when we use our nanoparticle or mix of our nanoparticle with infection drug, hopefully it works. Let me move on other self-assembling drugs based on amino acid and short-chain fatty acid. As you know, amino acid works. Many kinds of amino acid works as a pharmacologically or biological active compound. So one of the disease, Parkinson disease like this, which is the lack of dopamine influence to cerebral cortex and decrease the motion command. So dopamine efficiently causes motor dysfunction. Since dopamine does not cross the blood-brain barrier, Ldopa is used as a prodrug for the treatment of Parkinson's disease. This is Ldopa. However, this is low molecular weight amino acid, water soluble and charged, so it does not work well. So this problem is rapid metabolism. So you need to frequent administration, so which causes decrease in efficiency and increase adverse effect. So we wanted to maintain sustained level of drug like this. Then we designed the new self-assembling drug based on polyethylene glycol Ldopa. So we use the protective group to increase the hydrophobicity of this segment and spontaneously form the polymer micelle like this. The size was 20 to 50 nanometer. After administration of nano-dopa, accumulate in, this is the injection, accumulate in liver, enzymatically hydrolyze in liver and uptake in blood and distribute to organ. So this is the therapeutic effect of our self-assembled Ldopa. Grid walk test, how many times they slip the foot like this, as compared to control. MPTP is the induces the Parkinson disease, increase the foot slips like this. Under this condition, Ldopa did not work, but in our nanoparticle decreased the foot slip time like this. A resting tremor score is also increased by MPTP treatment, but in our nanoparticle decrease. Narrow beam walk test, the Parkinson disease model decrease the speed to walk narrow beam like this, but our nanoparticle decrease like this. Drug test unfortunately did not show any change in this case. And side effect, protection with adverse effect. This is dyskinesia. This healthy mouse, Parkinson model mouse, dyskinesia. It is somewhat not very much clear, but the movement is peculiar. Abnormal involuntary movement, which is squat. When we add large amount of Ldopa, increase Ames score like this, but under the same concentration, nanoparticle did not increase the Ames score, so we can prevent the adverse effect like this. This is slide test, how long it takes time to drop out from the slant like this, as compared to control, MPTP did not keep their body in a slant, but Ldopa like this and nanoparticle recover like this. So in our nanoparticle suppress the adverse effect like this. Another is a major depressive disorder. This is not a depression, but pain, figure of go. So by the stress, the depressive disorder increase. Number of depressive disorder is 6 of the age 25 to 49. Suppress the neuron like this. So antidepressant drug targeting the neurotransmitter such as serotonin and norepinephrine and dopamine are investigating. One of the other neurotransmitters, gamma aminobutyric acid, GABA, is also anticipated. However, these are less effective due to the low molecular weight compound. So we design similarly, polyethylene glycol polygaba in this case. Polygaba is aminobutyric acid, but you can see here this is 4-nylon. So it is easy to polymerize ring opening polymerization of pyridine by using PgCOCl group to form a block copolymer like this. So we administer this block copolymer micelle, accumulate in intestinal mucosa. We administer orally, enzymatically hydrolyze, uptake in blood, and distribute in organ. This is our strategy. Intestinal nano-controlled release system. Using the similar depressive model, like the conical tube, and new tail suspension test was carried out like this. So this is normal mouse, and this is depressive model mouse. So we can monitor, immobile time like this, as compared to healthy mouse. The depression increase immobile time, but nano-GABA administration decrease the immobile time. And also stress hormone, corticosterone, as compared to healthy level, depression model increase, but nano-GABA administration decrease like this. So the GABA nanoparticle also works like this. So final trial is short-chain fatty acid. As you know, indigestible carbohydrate is metabolized in intestinal bacteria and generate short-chain fatty acid like propionic acid and butyric acid. These short-chain fatty acid are reported to show, the pharmacological effect, such as against liver HDAC inhibitor. This is the histone deacetylase inhibitor or G protein receptor. Here, beta oxidization reaction activate, and PPAR gamma activate, decrease fat accumulation and inflammation and fibrosis. In case of pancreas, if fatty acid receptor or GPRS increase and decrease, activate insulin level and GLP-1 level. Program, when we wanted to use, short-chain fatty acid, problem is very bad odor, rapid excretion, and adverse effect due to the acidic nature. So we also prepare, the nanoparticle by short-chain fatty acid. How we have done? Oh, this is uh, polyvinyl acetate hydrolyzed to form polyvinyl alcohol and acetic acid. This is a kind of saponification, and we learn in high school. So we're using this reaction prepared the PG polyvinyl ester local polymer possessing a propionic acid or butyric acid like this. The ester group was liberated, cleaved by enzyme. Due to the amphiphilic nature, this local polymer form polymer like micelle like this. So this is similar to the amino acid. We already administered this and hydrolyze the short-chain fatty acid and uptake in blood and distribute in organ like this. So we prepared PG polyvinyl propionate, PG polyvinyl butyrate forms nanoparticle, size of which was around 30, 40 nanometer. You can see here, even 100 milligram per ml, the solution was transparent. So this is a sample preferential test. We put, water bottle and sample bottle and monitored which one is preferable for mouse. This is data, sample preference. In case of nanobutyrate, nanoparticle, 7% takes, sample. This means, 25% they drank water. In case of propionate, you can see here, 50-50. However, in case of butyric acid, propionic acid, less than 25% they drank sample. More than 75 they drank water. I don't think they find, the smell of this compound, but probably due to the strong acid nature, they cause damage to intestine and they hate to drink, the sample here like this. This is pharmacokinetics data. You can see we installed, the radioisotope iodine 125 to polymer and orally administer like this. When we introduce, iodine isotope to polymer end and administer orally, we found the polymer in the GI tract, but not in the blood and liver. Polymers are not taken into the body from the GI tract by oral administration. Here we introduce radioisotope to ester group and then administer orally. You can see here not only the GI tract, but also in the main organ we found radioisotope like this. This means fatty acids are taken up into the blood and distributed in each organ. So this means the enzymatically cleavage took place in the intestine and they liberated short-chain fatty acid internalized into bloodstream. So using this nanoparticle, we applied them to a diabetes model mouse. Short-chain fatty acid and the nanoparticle administered free drink to diabetes model mouse for 37 days and control commercially available exenatide, which is GLP-1 receptor agonist. Because this is, the peptide drug, we cannot administer orally and inject it subcutaneously. So this is glucose tolerance test at the 37 days. So this means, we administer glucose, 2 grams of glucose, and how much decrease in blood glucose level after 1 hour. As compared to control diabetes model mouse, our nanoparticle and exenatide shows, similar effect. Decrease in glucose level in blood was observed. Nanopropionate also works to some extent, but butyrate works much higher. And the same as subcutaneously injected exenatide. So this is size of beta cell, Langerhans cell. The diabetes model shrink like this, but in our nanobutyrate, exenatide keeps, large size like this. And this is damage of intestine as compared to control. Orally administered nanoparticle did not decrease the villi length for 40 days. On the contrary, however, low molecular butyric acid, propionic acid decreased the length. And also subcutaneously injected exenatide also decreased the villi length in the intestine, duodenum, and colon. Like this, these 3 compounds shows, the strong adverse effect to intestine, but our nanoparticle did not cause any side effect. So this is other data, but due to time, I'm going to skip this. In conclusion, we have prepared, new antioxidant amino acid, short-chain fatty acid, self-assembled nanoparticle, which is liberated by enzymatically like this to release the amino acid, short-chain fatty acid. So accumulation in intestinal mucosa, enzymatically hydrolyzed, uptaken in blood, distributing organ. So we said intestinal nanocontrolled release system, which recover many types of disease, sports, Alzheimer's disease, heart attack, cancer, depression, diabetes. Okay, thank you very much for your kind attention.